I came across some quotes today from Packers QB coach Tom Clements from an interview he had with different Packers reporters sometime this past week. And so I want to share what he had to say about Sean Clifford, because lots of times with the backup QBs, you never hear too much about what's going on with them when you compare that to the starter and a guy like Jordan Love. But this was an article written at ESPNlacrosse.com by Paul Brettel, and he has these quotes from Tom Clements about Sean Clifford specifically. So here is the first quote. "He developed throughout the year," said quarterbacks coach Tom Clements, "which is what you'd like to see. He's doing a great job in this offseason, so I think he'll make a big jump from year 1 to year 2. In the Packers last season, after moving to Jordan Love as a starter with Aaron Rodgers being traded to the New York Jets, decided to draft Clifford in the 5th round to have some more depth when it came to their backup quarterback situation. And we got to witness Clifford during the preseason. And during that time, there were a lot of people who were pushing for Clifford to be the QB1. I thought at the time it was premature considering Jordan Love had barely played any football. But I see why some people liked what Clifford was showing last preseason, because he plays super aggressive. If you had to think of it, a kind of type of quarterback you could compare him to, I think Brett Favre is. He's that, a quarterback in that type of mold where he's willing to take risks, maybe sometimes too many risks, but at the same time, sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. That's how Brett Favre played here in Green Bay, during his career with all those interceptions, but also a lot of those incredible plays. That's sort of just the kind of QB he was, and we saw a lot of that from Clifford last preseason. And I had said last year, if Jordan Love ever went down, moving to Clifford, I would be somewhat optimistic that he could go in and win a game, because you could tell that he's not phased. He wasn't phased being a rookie quarterback, playing in the preseason. Sure, it's not the regular season, but at the same time, you could tell that, the moment was not too big for him, and he started a ton of games during his time in college. And then here's the next quote. "Sean, he definitely did grow," said Clements. "He's like a game-type gamer. A little bit of Matt Flynn in him. Once the season started and he was running the scout team, and he started to become more familiar with our offense and then running opposing teams' offenses, you usually have a lot of similar plays, and he ran the scout team very well, ran the huddle well. He's a good leader, and he started to make plays throughout the year." So the Packers have had a full season witnessing what Clifford can do during his time at practice, and I think that Clements seems to be confident in the type of progress that Clifford is making. And you would have to assume when we see Clifford likely this next preseason that he'll probably look a lot more polished and understand this Packers offense much more than last preseason, where he had only been on the team for a few months. Then another quote here. "Well, as a backup," added Clements, "you want someone, if the starter is out for a game or a couple games, to come in there and run the team. Be able to lead the team and get a win because you want to continue to win if your starter is not there. Got to know the offense, which I'm sure that will happen, and have the confidence of the other guys in the huddle, and I think that will happen." So you never know what could happen with quarterback injuries. Last year, so many different quarterbacks around the NFL got injured. Tons of big-name guys like Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins. So in this scenario that Clifford would have to take over at any point, it sounds like Clemens is pretty confident that Clifford would be able to have the confidence of the guys around him, which is obviously important. I think you already saw that during his time in the preseason, as I already discussed. And then finally, we'll end with this quote. It says, "As I said, usually there's a big jump from year 1 to year 2, I think. So I anticipate that to be the case," Clements said. "You just have to be ready to go. Sean is very into the game. If you watch him on the sideline, he's always talking to Jordan, learning, watching what's going on out on the field. He loves football, so he just needs to continue to work and be ready." So it's always fun in the preseason to get to see some of these, quarterbacks that you won't typically get to see during the regular season. It was like that for years when Jordan Love came in and had not yet taken over for Rodgers. We got to see, what Jordan Love had to offer during his time in the preseason. And while it's not expected for Sean Clifford to ever, take the reins from Jordan Love by, overtaking him without an injury happening, you never know, what could happen in the NFL. And so the Packers have been pretty adamant about their desire to continue to develop quarterbacks behind Jordan Love. They drafted Michael Pratt in the 7th round, and so Pratt is going to be competing with Sean Clifford, and many people seem to think that Pratt, went a lot later than most were expecting, including Matt LaFleur himself. And so we'll see if there is, any chance that Pratt could overtake Sean Clifford, but I do think the fact that Clifford does have a year of experience now with this Packers offense. He probably has, the leg up. But that is all I have for this video. If you would like more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below. Make sure you turn on the post notifications. That way you never miss any Packers news. And I'll see you guys next time.